Joining us now is Elizabeth Pipko, former RNC spokeswoman. Elizabeth, it is great to see you. I want to start with Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files. One of the biggest stories in the world right now, which is not going away anytime soon, because we know more than 1,000 girls and women were abused or trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, but only one person, Ghislaine Maxwell, is in jail over this. She's serving 20 years on child sex trafficking charges. And Epstein's victims claimed that they were passed around to Epstein's wealthy and powerful friends who regularly visited his homes, including his private island. And last week we were told that the Justice Department and the FBI found that there was no client list, and essentially this was it. We're not getting any more information. Now, Director of the FBI, Kash Patel, posted on X over the weekend saying that conspiracy theories just aren't true. I don't think that went down very well. And FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino has reportedly been fighting with Attorney General Pam Bondi over how badly she's handled this publicly. Now, Donald Trump has defended both of them. This is what he had to say about Dan Bongino.
Oh, I think so. I did. I spoke to him today. Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
Trump also defended Pam Bondi, saying she's doing a fantastic job, and then went on to say for years it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? I mean, suggesting that it was written by Obama seems pretty ridiculous. We have to get more into these files in a moment, but I just want to ask off, firstly, what do you make of what's happening inside the Trump administration and the fallout over these files that we're not getting?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, great to see you. Thanks for having me back. It's funny you asked, what do I think about what's happening in the administration? It's almost funny. I think there's more happening outside of the administration, right? Because it's the administration minus a few people here and there that seems as though that they're very much on the same page and I'm just wanting to move on here. And then there's everyone on the outside that's confused about the way that this was handled and presented and kind of has questions. It's interesting to me that it's happening under this president, right? Everyone knows I'm a giant supporter of President Trump's, and I'm a supporter of his partially because of his transparency. So I actually don't think that this is the end of this story, even if the admin had originally planned for it to be. This is a man who I kind of think wins as much as he does because he listens to the American people, unlike the politicians before him on both the left and the right. And if he's listening to the people, not just in his base, by the way, but anyone that's followed the story, I mean, you detailed a tiny bit of it. It's one of the most disgraceful stories that we have of, the last 10, 15 years that people like I grew up having to follow. So the fact is, if it's not going away, Donald Trump is not going to shoo it aside because he knows that he owes answers to the people who put him in the office that he's in. So it's a combination of things. I don't know if the timing was correct when he first said, why are we talking about Jeffrey Epstein? It was during a meeting where they were actually discussing the flood in Texas. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're still looking for bodies right now. So obviously timing is everything. Maybe that wasn't the time for that topic to come up. However, I understand the people's concern, and I think President Trump as well understands the people's concern and is going to listen. And if people are still going to talk about this and ask questions and be angry about the way it was handled, I think he's going to come back to the table and talk more about it.
Yeah, and it appears that is the case because we know that many MAGA voices who proudly support Trump are pushing back on this because they were promised truth and transparency and they're not going to let this go. They're not going to let the Trump administration move away from it. And Lara Trump revealed on the Benny Johnson show today that the Trump administration is listening and suggested that more evidence will be released. Listen to this.
Of the consternation out there. And I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this. And I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that. I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we see that happen sooner than later.
So yes, we can expect more transparency around this, more evidence to come.
Yeah, look, I mean, as Lara said, this is a man who's listening. And if people are talking about it and asking questions, then I think if anyone was in the White House, maybe I would feel differently. But knowing it's Donald Trump, I would assume that his administration is listening. The kind of people that he has in the administration are the types that were asking these questions before they went in, right? So they actually understand where the people are coming from, why there's this much of an uproar, considering what happened and how this was relayed to the public. So I would assume, just like Laura said, if the people are going to continue to ask questions, Donald Trump is one of few presidents who likes to deliver for the people who put him in the position that he's in. And I would assume that they're going to release more information, like she said, that can be released. But I assume they're going to figure out a way to get some answers out to the people, because Donald Trump does respect the people who put him in there and the people that have questions about things like this, something he's talked about quite a bit as well.